For years, the world revered Prince Rogers Nelson as a mysterious genius, an artist whose music transcended genres and whose aesthetic defined generations. Meanwhile, Sinead Diddy Combs curated an image of a mogul-turned-playboy, living a lavish life under the bright lights of fame, wealth, and infamy. While these two icons may seem like polar opposites at a glance, recent revelations have some people seriously rethinking just how different or similar these men might have been. The bombshell? Evidence has surfaced that not only did Prince lend his property to Diddy for parties, but that he actually partied with Diddy on more than one occasion. This is a far cry from the previous assumption that Prince was merely a reluctant host. Now, questions are bubbling to the surface about what kind of friendship these two powerful figures really shared and, more disturbingly, whether Prince may have been engaging in the same dark behavior that Diddy is currently facing scrutiny for. The first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. It all started with a casual recollection. Jason Lee, founder of Hollywood Unlocked, once confirmed that Prince's house was used for Diddy's parties. At the time, the implication was that Prince simply offered up his home and didn't actually participate in the freaky festivities. But that narrative has changed. Lee described surreal scenes, Tyrese performing, Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher swinging on playground swings inside a mansion, and of course, the one unspoken rule: no personal security allowed inside. That alone raised eyebrows, but it was brushed off by many as just another wild celebrity party. Then came the trial. The trial that changed everything. A former personal assistant to Diddy, testifying under the pseudonym Mia, told a harrowing story under oath. Between 2009 and 2017, she claimed to have witnessed everything from Diddy controlling Cassie Ventura's career and whereabouts to brutal outbursts of violence. One of the most chilling events she recalled occurred in 2010 at none other than Prince's mansion. According to Mia, she and Cassie attended a party at Prince's house without Diddy's permission. What started as a carefree night quickly turned terrifying. Diddy allegedly showed up, chased Cassie through Prince's yard, and physically assaulted her after she fell into some bushes, right on Prince's front lawn. Mia testified that Prince's security had to intervene, pulling Diddy off Cassie. The next day, Mia was reportedly suspended without pay by Diddy for even going to the party. And that's when the narrative began to unravel. Prince and Diddy were in the same circles, and it wasn't just music. If Prince's security stepped in to protect Cassie, was it out of genuine care? Or was he simply trying to prevent a scandal from erupting on his property? That's the question people can't stop asking. On the surface, it's tempting to see Prince as a benevolent host saving the day. But critics argue that this might be too generous an interpretation, especially when placed beside disturbing past allegations against Prince himself. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Sinead O'Connor wasn't the only woman who accused Prince of being dangerous. Sinead O'Connor tried to warn us. In the decades since her explosive fame in 1990 with the Prince-written song "Nothing Compares to You," Sinead O'Connor repeatedly told the public about her terrifying encounter with Prince. She alleged that he summoned her to his home under the guise of discussing the song, only to berate and physically attack her. "He tried to beat me up," she once told an interviewer. "It was a very frightening experience." He wasn't joking. She said Prince blocked her from leaving, tried to drag her to his car, and that she escaped by fleeing on foot and ringing the doorbell of a neighbor for help. She also recounted bizarre behavior, being pressured to eat soup by a butler and being challenged to a pillow fight with a hidden object inside the pillow. At the time, her stories were brushed off as eccentric or exaggerated. But in hindsight, especially with what's now known about Diddy, the parallels are too unsettling to ignore. More women stepped forward, but were silenced. After Sinead, more stories slowly emerged over the years, often ignored or swept under the rug due to Prince's iconic status. One of the most telling accounts came from Charlene Friend, a former girlfriend of Prince, who filed a lawsuit alleging a pattern of psychological and physical abuse. Charlene claimed that Prince filmed them having sex without her consent, forced her to call him Messiah, and subjected her to bizarre themed rooms filled with cages, whips, and chains. She also alleged emotional torment, being forced to watch videos of Prince with other women, and the emotional devastation of being cut off. Then came the documentary Prince's estate tried to shut down, the documentary that never saw the light. But its claims did. A 9-hour documentary featuring ex-lovers of Prince was reportedly blocked by his estate, but details have leaked. Among the voices were Jill Jones, Susanna Melvoin, and Mate Garcia, Prince's ex-wife. Jones recounted a night in 1984 when Prince, after being slapped by a friend of hers, allegedly punched her in the face repeatedly. She said she never pressed charges because she feared it would destroy his career and because she still loved him. Melvoin described controlling behavior and surveillance, and Garcia. Her story disturbed many. She met Prince at just 16 years old, after her mother submitted a video of her belly dancing. By 17, she lived with him under his guardianship. He reportedly told her when it was time to begin birth control, marking the shift in their relationship from platonic to sexual. Patterns, not coincidences. When you place these allegations side by side, Prince's alleged abuse and control, Diddy's current legal troubles and history with Cassie, a disturbing pattern emerges. These weren't isolated incidents. They were sustained, repeated behaviors hidden behind the veil of celebrity, genius, and power. Both men used their status to maintain tight control over the women around them. Both allegedly engaged in manipulation, abuse, and psychological warfare. And most crucially, both enjoyed decades of protection, whether through NDAs, out-of-court settlements, or public adoration. Are we selective about accountability? Here's the question many are now asking. Why does Diddy face global condemnation while Prince has remained largely untouchable? Is it because Diddy is still alive and active, making him an easier target? Or is it because Prince, enigmatic, brilliant, and deeply beloved, represents something people simply don't want to question? There's a deeper cultural reckoning here. For too long, we've separated the artist from the art only when it's convenient, when we love their music, when their death absolves them in the public eye, or when their persona seems too magical to be real. But as one user put it on social media, if we're going to drag Diddy, maybe we should re-examine Prince too. That doesn't mean erasing Prince's legacy. It means looking at the full picture. What was the Prince-Diddy bond, really? So, what kind of friendship did these two actually have? It's no longer enough to say Prince lent Diddy a house for a party. It's no longer enough to say they were in similar circles. Prince showed up to Diddy's birthday party in pajamas. They were friendly, familiar, and possibly bonded by more than just music. As uncomfortable as it is to ask, was their connection deeper and darker than we realized? Because if they shared a pattern of abusive behavior toward women, then it's not about two legends with overlapping careers. It's about a toxic culture of power, control, and silence that allowed these behaviors to thrive in plain sight. Final thoughts. Is it time to face the music? Nobody's saying Prince and Diddy were identical. Their legacies, music, and personas are distinct, but the accusations, the chilling, consistent testimonies of abuse, manipulation, and control are eerily aligned. If the culture is finally ready to hold Diddy accountable, why not Prince? Why are some legends immune to scrutiny? How many more women need to speak before they're heard? These are the questions we must ask, not just about these two men, but about the systems that protect powerful figures in the entertainment industry, often at the expense of vulnerable women. So maybe it's not just about Prince or Diddy. Maybe it's about finally breaking the silence that has shielded too many for too long. What do you think? Are we confronting an uncomfortable truth about Prince's legacy? Or is the comparison to Diddy unfair? Drop your thoughts in the comments.